every donor I've spoken with has a personal connection to children's mental health, and hearing them talk about the impact that mental health services has made in the lives of children, in their lives, and the lives of neighbors' kids, in the lives of the broader community has really been impactful to me. So that just need and awareness of people are feeling in a very tangible, real way the impact of the children's mental health crisis. The severity and complexity of the cases we're dealing with is high. Like, there are very difficult cases. Kids are under care for much longer. The types of things that they're dealing with and the trauma that they're experiencing is more intense than we've seen at other points in time. I mean, people often don't think about the things that we're providing mental health for kids and what that's doing in terms of reducing the impact of and drain on resources later on in society. Think about a kid who's been booted out of 4 or 5 daycares from that. That kid's probably not going to be able to get to kindergarten. There may be a gap between them even getting daycare or childcare because they're not able to get that. And what trajectory does that put that child on? And think about if we just got to that kid earlier on in one of our early childhood programs, and the child learns how to regulate. And the child goes on to kindergarten and to learn and has a whole different trajectory, because something that could have derailed them that's not related to their intellect or potential wasn't treated for what it was, which was a mental health issue. And that's part of, I believe, at the root of community mental health. I actually feel like that hope piece is important, because oftentimes I feel like when people come to us, they may not even know what we do or what we're going to do or what we can bring. And when they walk in and get through that process and they get connected with that therapist for the first time, and it's like, oh, okay, this is someone who knows what I'm describing. This is someone who knows what my child's experiencing. Our donors have such a tremendous impact, where every dollar, even if it's only $1, that still has a huge impact on our ability to fulfill our mission. It makes a difference for the kids and families.
I started working with Tristan and Carla. One of the big areas of concern was school. Tristan is a super smart and creative kid, but he does not learn in the typical sense. So finding ways for him to still show how smart he is, that wasn't a answer these 5 questions and get them right. He's a hands-on learner. He wants to just dive in and do it, and being able to help the school support him in that aspect. So when I first met Tristan, he was somewhat resistant to the idea of me and the idea of support, because he had it covered. He didn't need additional help or additional support. We looked at things like community programming, cooking classes, summer camps, an instrument. We got him interested in football, which he did, and that was about it. So when this poetry thing became something that he was really invested and interested in, it almost caught me off guard, because he was so adamant that he didn't want to participate in any additional extra things. But poetry class with that specific poetry teacher really connected with him, and he didn't want to stop. We accessed it through the school, and then we were able to get additional funding through the county to be able to support continued poetry growth over the summer, and he was invested. He wanted it. He eventually had actually written a poetry book, and he was going into the community to do a poetry reading, and his face just lit up as he told me about prepping to go and read his poetry in front of people. He already had his outfit picked out, he had his book, he had what poem he was gonna read, and he was ready to go. When I think of Tristan now, he exudes confidence. He holds his head high, he can tell people what he wants more independently. The last IEP meeting I went with, I didn't even need to be there. He was on it with his mom. They're supporting him. So his ability to tell you what he wants, and he can tolerate hearing a different response. He might be mad about it, but he can tolerate it, and he can take some time and then try and renegotiate and find a middle ground. It was really hard to close and to say goodbye, but I have no doubt that he's going to continue to be a successful young adult and young man, and he's got a lot of skills that he's developed. So it makes me smile knowing that I got to walk beside them.